Hi, this is Coach Lee, and in this video, I'm going to answer the question of, what if my friends say no contact is a bad idea? And a lot of people on coaching calls will ask me that, and I'm assuming at this point that you have been broken up with and you want to get your ex back and you are trying to use the no contact rule. Please take a second and click the subscribe button below so that you can be notified when I have more content like this that's helpful to your situation. And it's not just in dealing with breakups, but it's in being attractive, your most attractive self in many ways in life, in romance, in marriage, and in relationship dynamics, and of course, breakups. So a lot of times I'm on a coaching call and I suggest using the no contact rule. And I have lots of videos on no contact and on encouragement if you were in no contact to get your ex back. And yet I still get a lot of questions about if it's a good idea or not. And that's fine. I can handle the questions because I understand that I've been in the relationship recovery service for nearly 20 years. So I have a much greater vantage point than nearly everyone else does. In that I've seen so many breakups and so many relationships that have been recovered, that have gotten back together, that have reunited, that it's a bit unfair because I'm so sure of no contact, and a lot of you are just hearing of the concept and you're just kind of processing it, and as some people say, wrapping your mind around it. So it's perfectly fine to ask me that question, and I'm happy to take a coaching call and go into great detail into why no contact is extremely effective at getting your ex back, and it's good for you. And I go over that a tremendous amount in my emergency breakup kit, and even give you other things to do during no contact that will help you get your ex back. And you can find more information about my emergency breakup kit in the link in the description below. But people will be on a coaching call with me and they will say, well, I asked my friends about no contact and they said it wasn't a good idea. Or my friend said no contact wasn't a good idea. Now, I will admit that, sure, that's a little frustrating to hear because I am someone who does this professionally. I deal with breakups every day and I deal with the restorations every day. So being put in the same circle as someone's random friends is a little bit irritating. But I don't show it, I don't get angry or anything like that. I'm big enough to handle the question because I know that the opinions of your friends are important to you, especially if you think they've had more experience in relationships than you. So I want to give you this opportunity to hear from me and from my observations over the years, which observational studies are tremendously powerful in being able to see patterns and being able to project what someone's reaction to something might be. It's amazing how scientific we humans can be when we're observed in certain situations. And there's really a limited number of things that we can do. There's only a few responses usually that we can have. And of course, every situation's different. There are unique little turns and stories and issues that can make breakups different and more challenging. But I'm trying to speak in general terms because obviously I can't make a video for every single situation, though I'm going to try. So in terms of no contact, let's just back it up and take it out of the relationship arena and try to separate it from the anxiety that you're feeling right now and the sense of urgency and panic that you're feeling. Okay, let's take it to something a little more simple. If you told someone, I'm going to go in that room over there and I'm going to close the door and I just want some quiet, I don't want to talk right now, and you went into that room and closed the door, and within a few minutes someone was knocking on the door saying, hey, you want to talk? Hey, I want to talk. Hey, will you come talk to me? What would your response be? Wouldn't you think, I told them I don't want to talk. I want to be alone. I want them to leave me alone. You probably wouldn't say, oh, it means so much that they didn't respect my wishes. You might be a little irritated, even though you could still care about them to a large degree. And there might be a time when you want to come out of the room and talk to them again. Hopefully there will be. But it's probably not a positive thing for you if you have told them, I'm going to go in here and I don't want to hear from you. Now, obviously, in some breakups, sometimes people will say, I want you to stay in my life, I want to be friends with you, and I'll get to that in just a minute. But just think about that situation for just a minute, because some of you were not told that, and because it still helps us to relate to and simplify the situation a little bit. So next, if you told someone that you need time and space, let's just say it's not a girlfriend or a boyfriend. Let's just say you told a friend, I just need time and space. I need to be alone. And they came to your house, they texted you, they called, they did things that they know you asked them not to do. Would you think, oh, they care about me so much, that's why? Or would you think, they're not respecting my wishes. They're not doing what I asked them to do. They don't care what I want. It's all about what they want. Now, granted, it's going to be a little bit of both, but the element of knowing that this person is not respecting my wishes, that they care more about what they want than what I want, is going to be in there. And if you want this person back, if you want your ex back, do you want them thinking that you care more about what you want than what they want in this situation? Or do you want them thinking that you don't respect their wishes or accept the decisions they make for their life? And again, would that be a good thing for them to think relative to you? No, it wouldn't. So we're beginning to get into the basics of no contact. And I've already got videos on that, so I'm not going to recreate a video on no contact. But I am going to answer a few of these questions in terms of when people ask, well, my friends say no contact is not a good idea, so should I listen to my friends and do they have a point? Sometimes someone will say, well, my friend told me that I need to let this person know that I love them and how I feel, that I should just tell them how I feel, just open up my heart, lay it on the line. I've got something to say, I'm going to tell them how I feel. And there's a movie that probably a lot of you have seen, some of you haven't. It doesn't really matter what it's called, but this teenager is broken up with. He is broken up with by his girlfriend. And he's trying to figure out how to get her back. It's this big mystery. How does she feel? Is she trying to tell him something? Are there clues? All the things a lot of us go through during a breakup, when usually there are not clues. They are not trying to send you a message. I'm just being honest with you. Usually we overanalyze this to incredible detail, and they're not trying to give you a clue or send you a message, unless they are, and they would be sending you a message, literally. And you should not respond until they do. But that's another video, and I do have it. You can search Coach Lee No Contact, and you can watch some of my videos on no contact, or you can get the really good stuff and get my emergency breakup kit, which is linked to in the description below. That's the emergency breakup kit that I developed. It's mine. It's in the description below. But in this movie, at the end of the movie, he suddenly has this epiphany. He realizes, oh, this is what I need to do to get her back. It's so simple and beautiful, and I'm going to go do it. And he goes to her house and puts a tape in, because this is like an 80s movie. And it's this song that apparently had some kind of meaning to them. It's part of it is In Your Eyes, and it's a beautiful song where a guy's singing about all the things he sees in the eyes of the one that he loves. But the guy goes to her house and he parks his car and he holds the boombox up above his head, playing this song. She comes to the window and looks out, and after a few seconds she runs down to him, and it's a beautiful moment. And that was all it took, was him playing this song for her to get her back. A lot of people have seen too much TV. They've seen too many movies, and they think that there is something to be learned from these made-up stories. Now, can there be? Sure. But these are not true stories. They're not even based on true stories. They're based on a writer's imagination, and they're based on making something you will pay money to see and maybe even buy on DVD or download from Amazon or whatever. They're not based on truth, and they're played to us, and a lot of times they are ingrained in us as though we're learning principles about life. And unfortunately, a lot of those principles are not true. A lot of them are just BS. And this is the situation. This particular scene, a lot of people were taught that this is a way to get your girl or your guy back, is to have this dramatic, romantic moment, and they'll want you back. There's another movie called Cool as Ice, which came out at some point in the 90s that I remember, where the girl is wanting her guy back, who is played by Vanilla Ice, and her girlfriends are offering her advice on how to get him back. And one of them says, "You should just tell him how you feel, just how you really feel." And a lot of movies use that line, just tell him how you feel. I actually have a video on that, about will telling your ex how you feel get them back. And the thing is, that's a backwards approach, because what matters is how they feel. They don't feel like they want to be with you. How you feel doesn't really matter. They assume, as a matter of fact, you want to be with them, or else you would have been the one who broke up with them. That's the logic of it. And these movies and bad advice from people who have seen a handful of breakups in their life at best, and if those people got back together, did they really know why? Did they really see a pattern? Did they really study it? No. And yet, we do take advice from people we care about seriously, but we shouldn't always. Just because we care about someone doesn't mean that their advice is relevant. They know how you feel. You have told them you love them already, probably even when they broke up with you. You begged and pleaded, but I love you and everything else. Did it work? Obviously not. So, as we have been told all our lives, one of the principles that has some truth to it, though it's not completely true, because sometimes there is a lot of value in perseverance. But in this case, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results because of the situation, because of the dynamics of the situation. Telling them how you feel will likely not work. You likely already have, and yet you're watching this video anyway, so I'm assuming it didn't work. It won't work again. As a matter of fact, if you try to do it, it will push them further away, and they will become cold, they will become annoyed, and then they will become angry. And I have a video on that as well, where I talk about that, and that's in my emergency breakup kit as well. So ask yourself, how many breakups have your friends seen? How many breakups has your mom seen? How many breakups has your dad seen? Your grandpa? Your Uncle Don? Whoever it is. They haven't seen as many breakups as I have. It's not even close. As a matter of fact, I probably see more in one day than they have in their entire life. So trust me on this. I know it doesn't feel as good. It would feel good to reach out to them. That's the temptation of it and the deception of it, is that it would feel so good to reconnect some with your ex, and that dream of getting them back, that I could just call and do something. I could have a talk with them and fix it. It's so deceptive. But that's where you have to put what you want long term ahead of what would feel good in the moment. And in the moment, yes, it would feel good to reach out to them, and there's also that illusion, that oasis in the desert, that you could get them back. But it's a mirage in the desert, because usually it doesn't work. And when I say usually, I want to say it doesn't work. Okay, I'm excluding like the rare 5% when it might temporarily. Don't bet on that. Don't bet on 5% odds. Bet on 95%, especially when it's something so important like getting your ex back. And the reason that your friends are wrong when they tell you that no contact is a bad idea, because they have no experience with it and it just strikes them as not making sense. Hopefully they're honest with you and they say, I don't know because I don't have any professional experience in this, but I don't think that's a good idea. That's their opinion. Figure out what they're basing it on. Because what I'm basing it on, and I'm giving you the very simple version of this, is that your ex has to have motivation to want to get back with you. They have to feel the loss to want to get back with you. Or else, what motivation is there to change the situation? They have to feel a negative. And if you're staying in communication with them, you're just telling them that you're right there if they ever want to flick the switch and take you back. So they don't have to worry about getting you back. They can just flick the switch whenever they want to. They might not even be thinking that way, but they feel that if you are continually reaching out to them. And I know I've talked to people, and that was their strategy. They were going to check in with them every week just to kind of remind them that they're still there, as though they would forget that you exist. I still remember people I knew when I was 3 and 4 years old. They're not going to forget about you. What you really are hoping is that you'll have a little talk with them and it will spark something. But what it will actually do is it will push them a little further away because they will start to feel like you're a little bit out of touch. It will be awkward because they know that you want them back. And that's where when you try to pretend like you can just be friends, it never works out. Okay, again, almost never works out because they know that you want them back. And so it's just awkward. But it also shows you're not respecting their wishes. You're not giving them what they're saying they want in life, which at the moment is not you. You're acting like what you want is more important, and that even though it's not the real thing, that you will somehow force this connection, force this interaction, or force their presence in your life, even if they don't want it to be there. Your ex must feel motivation to change something. And in order to do that, your ex has to feel that they are losing you. And you think, well, but if they don't want to get back with me, why would it matter if they feel that? Well, that's just it. They didn't feel they were losing you when they broke up with you because they were in control and they figured they could get you back at any second because you were the one being dumped and you wanted to be with them. So there is no loss. Even a lot of times when I speak to people who do the dumping, which is amazing to me because I'm seen as an advocate for those who have been broken up with, and I am. But I do speak to people who have done the dumping and want their ex back. And they will even tell me, I kind of thought that I might break up with them and then we might get together again at some point in the future. Do you see how that's removing the sense of urgency? And so when you stay there and you pester and you reach out and you are basically letting them know, and a lot of times you will even tell them, I'll be waiting. I'll be here in case you change your mind. Bad idea. Because again, you're just reinforcing that if they ever change their mind and feel a little bit of that spark again, they can always count on you to be there. That's not attractive. That will actually prevent the spark from coming back. What will make the spark come back is if they fear losing you and actually see the value that you held in their life. That's why the songs and the saying is true. You don't know what you have until it's gone. So true. That's the point when you learn what it really means to you. Remember that when your friends tell you no contact is a bad idea. Get my emergency breakup kit. The link is in the description below. Getting back with the one you love is worth it. This has been Coach Lee, the developer of the emergency breakup kit, and you can schedule a coaching call with me at myexbackcoach.com. Thank you for watching.